Boo. Hello. Welcome back to the 95th edition of Electric Avenue YouTube updates. So crazy things a pandemic will do, right? So anyway, thanks for joining me again. And I'm going to run through this week's new releases. We're doing August 19th, 2022. Happy belated birthday to the co-owner of the shop. She's unable to work these days, but she still owns the business. So thank you. And what else? R.I.P. Olivia Newton-John. I completely glossed over that last week. Somebody who was such an icon for me as a child. I looked up to, and she's epitome of beauty and fun and good spirit. I can't really say enough good things about her, even though I didn't know her personally. She just always seemed like a really good person. Have had a lot of other female singers that have come along since her, and she was a big inspiration to them. And one thing that I think sometimes they might be missing, not all, but a few, is that sort of very honorable, lighthearted spirit that she carried. And, people say, oh, she had such a wonderful life. And, well, she did for a time, but she battled cancer 3 times. And I don't know if I call that wonderful. That's just basically being a really strong person and constantly getting knocked down and fighting a good fight. So I hope you're in Xanadu somewhere dancing with Gene Kelly. You deserve a lot of praise for what you did, even though, maybe she didn't, I don't know. It's not necessarily like her songs, the songs she wrote, because she didn't really write the songs, but her delivery is what made them so special, I think. So anyway, throw that in there. All right, on to this week's new releases. Why not? Panic at the Disco, Viva Las Vengeance. It's been a little while for what is now essentially a solo act. They've been sort of popular now for 15, 20 years. Has it been 20? More like 15. But anyway, keep making records. Limited edition coral vinyl. I haven't listened to any of the singles from that yet. Actually, it's funny. Most of the stuff that came out this week, summer's not usually really big on the release schedule, and this summer was bigger than normal. Maybe the last couple of years have been bigger because we're trying to catch up from COVID delays and stuff like that, shipping delays and whatnot. But there's so much stuff coming out, so. Not all of it's big, but great stuff. Mountain Goats, Bleed Out. I love this band. The last 3 or 4 records have been really, really good. I love the cover art. It's a little dark. But yeah, they're always sort of unique with the cover art, at least the last few records, for sure. And I think the songwriting has gotten really good too over the last few records. So, I know this says limited edition Tuscan yellow vinyl. Um, it's kind of neat the way they did this sort of Obi strip here. If you like really good Americana that has, and it's sort of alternative too, I suppose, but a lot of good storytelling, kind of quirky. I'll never forget they, um, you know, just write really interesting songs. That's what I always remember about Mountain Goats. Another band I really like, and good to see a new record from, Hot Chip. It's been maybe 3 years since the last one, I suppose, which was A Bath Full of Ecstasy. This is Freak Out Release. And this also includes a bonus track that's not available on the CD, and says mixed by Soul Wax. So it does have kind of an indie dance vibe. If you're into LCD Sound System and stuff like that, you should probably check out Hot Chip. Actually, there's no excuse that you haven't. All right, Thunder Mother. Yeah, Thunder Mother. This is black and gold. I believe that the record is actually, this is gold vinyl. They look like Thunder Mothers, don't they? Um, Boy, it'd be cool being one of their kids, right? So, I gotta check that out. Maybe my rock friends know it better. Lyra Lynn, this is her new record called Something More Than Love. I know she's had records out on like Record Store Day. Might want to check her out. This is going to elicit some groans from some people who may have bought the archive box set that came out over the summer, but Neil Young, El Dorado. You know, some people were like, "Oh, I didn't need that whole box set if I could just get this EP." It's 5 songs, includes Cocaine Eyes, Don't Cry, Heavy Love on Broadway, and El Dorado. And yeah, this is available on vinyl for the first time. Well, technically not if you bought the box set, but that since that's been out for a few weeks. Originally released in 1989 in Japan and Australia only. And I like how it says visit neilyoungarchives.com for high res audio and more. So he's kind of giving you a little bit of information there, and it actually has his little things on the back that says mastered from 44/16 digital. So Neil's being upfront about his mastering process. He's been doing that for a little while now. Anyway, so check that out. REM, Chronic Town. This is an interesting presentation of this as a picture disc. I believe, I'm not sure, but I think other parts of the world it might be actually on like a regular record, but in the US for some reason it's only on a picture disc. Yeah, this is an EP, 5 tracks. It's I love that picture of them on the back there, celebrating 40 years since this came out. So anyway, you'll want to check that out if you're an REM fan, I think. Muddy Waters and Rolling Stones live at the Checkerboard Lounge. This is really cool that this got put out. It's on Mercury Universal. It's also been put out on opaque red and opaque white vinyl. So the cover art and the records sort of like match artistically. This is a really cool era for them, the early 80s. Not that the Stones were that great in the early 80s, but they were a great live band. And them with Muddy Waters is a very cool combo. 1981, so this would have been right after Tattoo You came out. Good era. All right, let's see. This is kind of hefty. And I don't know how it's going to photograph. Beastie Boys, and this is Check Your Head, the deluxe edition. Kind of see I'm trying to turn it in the light. So this is a 4-record set. It's big. Runs in the $120 some range, so it's not cheap. 4 records. 50th. Whoa, I'm aging them. 30th anniversary limited edition. That's how good my eyes are. Deluxe 4 LP reissue on 180 gram vinyl, featuring 16 bonus tracks, including remixes, live versions, and B-sides. So it's sort of hefty. It's got a nice spine. You can see there. I would say that unless you're like a major Beastie Boys fan, you may not need that, just because it's so hefty, pricey. Yeah. For a while there, we could get the 2-record set for like $40, but you know, I haven't seen that probably 2 years now. So at least. So maybe that's going to be the only option. I'm not sure. But it's a cool set. Oasis, Be Here Now. The Cocaine Years. No, you know, I think a lot of people like trashing on this album because it's the third, right? So it's after the 2 big breakthrough records. First one was the breakthrough in England. Second one was more the breakthrough in the US, but worldwide. And then this one kind of It sort of cemented their status as a big selling band, but I don't know if it really hit the same marks as far as like songs. Like, I think Magic Pie is kind of fun. Stand By Me is a pretty great song, actually. Do You Know What I Mean was the hit, the first hit. Don't Go Away is a pretty catchy little tune. I like that. And of course, All Around the World, it's 9 minutes, 10 minutes of full Beatlesque glory. It's a referential album to like the Beatles, really, and but some people have a problem with it, and I don't get it. Honestly, I think it's a pretty great album. So, Sue Me, another album I love, and I think can be semi controversial in a way, is Elvis Costello's Spike. And damn, that's such a great album cover. I've always loved that. This was the first album that he did for Warner Brothers after ending his contract with Columbia. And this is the black vinyl version. But what's cool about this is, first of all, this album was released in America on one record. And they had a tendency to do this with Elvis, where you had 16 songs, some of them 4 to 6 minutes long, being crammed down into one LP. It's no wonder that people didn't start wanting CDs. And so that has been rectified here, and they've spread it out over 2 LPs for the first time ever. And I don't know why on the sticker it says includes the track Coltrane Robberies, which it is on here, but you would think that the fact that Veronica is on here is a selling point as the single. Actually, I guess there were, sorry, I thought there were 16, there's 15 songs. So it's a lot of songs, all right? And it just makes sense that it's sort of like spread out this way. This also includes Tramp the Dirt Down, which is a very dark song about Margaret Thatcher. It includes Deep Dark Truthful Mirror, which features the Dirty Dozen Brass Band, and that's a very cool song. And the opener, This Town, features Paul McCartney on Rickenbacker bass. So, and he might be on the rest of this somewhere too. I remember Mitchell Froome's name being a lot on here. Produced by Kevin Killen and T-Bone Burnett. It's a great underrated album from the 80s, and it was that point where Elvis was changing record labels, and some people didn't like the fact that it didn't feature the Attractions per se, but anyway, he's done a lot of experimenting since then. Here's a cool John Mayall piece, Blues for the Lost Days. This is a later record for him, 1997. It was a pretty popular record, actually, and featured the songs Dead City, Stone Cold Deal, all those heroes. Produced by John Porter. These are numbered, actually. This is number 421 out of it doesn't say how many. 1,500. Yeah, the Elvis was not numbered. So, all right. And I think this is on... this just says available on vinyl for the first time. So I guess that's not colored, but first time on vinyl. Fela Kuti. This is, I can't say it, Rofa Rofa Fight. I knew I was going to get that wrong. I guess that's right. This is on transparent orange and green double vinyl for the first time. That's a great cover too. There you go. He's got, it's a 2 LP, is long tracks, usually always sort of long tracks on his records. So, yeah. Very cool. All right. Bouncing Souls, reissue of this great sort of indie ska masterpiece, right? Limited, I mean, I don't know what else to call it. Limited anniversary edition colored vinyl. I know there'll be people out there looking for this. That was a great record. It sold quite well too. The classic from War, World is a Ghetto, and there were a lot of War reissues that came out this week, but this was the one I felt that was the most crucial that we get right away. If you want some of the others, we can sort of look into that. This says one of Rolling Stone's 500 greatest albums of all time. Great album art too. This is when you go, this is why people love records, is the cover art is just amazing. This maybe, I don't know if I call this one amazing, but Madonna, Finally Enough Love. This is a 2 LP remix edition of this. They're mostly all edits of remixes, but it's whatever they felt they wanted to put together and make an album out of it. And it has a lot of her most famous songs on it over a long period. We're talking almost 40 years. Madonna has been a thing. That's crazy when you think about it, isn't it? Here's another person who's been around for about that long and doing stuff, maybe longer. I think longer. Danny Elfman. This is his odd new remix collection. This is called Bigger, Messier, which is remixes of stuff from his last record, and features some remixes from like Square Pusher, Shoo Shoo, Boris, and then you've got appearances by Trent Reznor, Blixa Bargold, Iggy Pop, Health. Yeah, so bizarre. I mean, the guy is kind of unstoppable, right? And then we also get an Oingo Boingo reissue this week of Good for Your Soul. This is the album that featured Nothing Bad Ever Happens to Me. And it also has the song Wake Up. It's 1984. Yeah. So Rubellin remasters are responsible for that. All right. So I'm finally getting to some of the jazz remaster or reissues and remasters of the week. Larry Young's Unity. This is on Blue Note Classic, and it features Woody Shaw, Joe Henderson, and Elvin Jones along with him. This is probably Larry's biggest selling album. It's the one that usually, when I see him listed, this is the one that usually comes up first. The other one that I think a lot of people are looking for is Wayne Shorter's Adam's Apple. And this is a very cool release. I'm glad to see this one come out. It also features Herbie Hancock on piano, Reginald Workman on bass, and Joe Chambers on drums. And it says right here, previous release, The All-Seeing Eye. So, and that's come out as a tone poet. So if some of you saw that, maybe this is something that would interest you because it's from the same basic era. Another great jazz reissue. We Get Requests by the Oscar Peterson Trio. It's a little shiny there. Sorry about that. This is on Verve Acoustic Sounds, coming out of Salina, Kansas. Thank you very much to, well, actually, this says manufactured at QRP, so Quality Record Pressing, so maybe this is getting farmed out now. But anyway, it's going to sound great. It's kind of got this audiophile presentation, heavyweight jacket. Yeah. And they do such good work that I would not even question that for a second. And then finally on vinyl today, Al Di Meola, John McLaughlin, and Paco de Lucia, Saturday night in San Francisco. So there's a famous Friday night in San Francisco. And this is out on Impex Records. And this is through Sony Music. And it's basically an audiophile version of this, which is the second night of shows that has not been released until now. So a lot of people looking forward to that. As far as CDs go, and then let me cover some new release info really quick. So these are things that I got on CD. I don't necessarily have them on vinyl, or they're still coming. The new Shamika Copeland, Done Come Too Far. She's a blues artist. Silver Sun Pickups, latest album. Early James. Early James is on Easy Eye Records, and this album was produced by Dan Auerbach. Seems like Dan Auerbach of Black Keys has an album coming out about every week. He was busy during the pandemic. Demi Lovato, Holy F. I can't, I could, but I'm not going to say it. Röyksopp, Profound Mysteries, Part 2. So they had a Part 1 album out this summer, and this is Part 2. I love, by the way, this band, this duo, couple of Norwegian guys that do sort of electronic music. They said about 7 or 8 years ago that they were never going to make another record. That's it. They were done. And my heart sort of sank. And wow, they've done 2 records in the last 3 months. So basically like a long double album. So it's cool. They're reinvigorated. Eric Church, his latest, it's like an ampersand or something on there. Very odd cover for a country artist. Sort of almost nondescript. It kind of looks like Black Sabbath or something. Jonathan Richman and the Modern Lovers. This is a reissue. Five Finger Death Punch, their latest. The Madonna that I showed earlier. This is the CD version. It's 3 CDs. Lots of remixes. It's all remixes. They're all edits though, so it's all shorter versions. But when you've got, 50 remixes on here, or 80, I don't know how many there are. 50 number ones. 50 of them. You kind of are like, it's okay, the shorter versions are okay. And then also on CD, this sort of bizarro release. It's TV Mania by Nick Rhodes of Duran Duran and Warren Cucurullo, who was in Missing Persons but used to be in Duran Duran and wrote or co-wrote Ordinary World. In the 90s, when Duran was kind of falling apart, they did this side project that was impossible to find on any format, and here it is on CD now, 25 years later. It's 11 tracks of sort of like experimental art rock stuff with a collage of sounds and beats and whatever. So anyway, check that out. So looking forward, next week is August 26th, and we'll have Kendrick Lamar on vinyl, Mr. Morale, and Silk Sonic, the album from last year, will finally make its appearance on vinyl. So good, looking forward to those things, right? Muse new album, Marcus King, and then there will be a couple other new albums. Steve Earle doing Jerry Jeff Walker songs. He's been doing a lot of covers albums, and then of course he had the one for his son who passed away, and that sort of was a covers album that was kind of unintended, that came out in the middle of all that. And then Valerie June has a covers album also coming out. Reissue front for next week, Blondie. There's the massive box set, which I don't know if we'll have in stock, but there will be smaller versions of that, either ones that contain all of their prime albums with a bunch of bonus material, or just the unreleased bonus material. So you kind of have a choice. And then vinyl reissue Moby's Play will be coming out. And also we'll have Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young's Deja Vu, The Doors' LA Woman, Vince Guaraldi, and I think that might be the Charlie Brown Christmas is getting another reissue, as well as It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. And Curtis Mayfield, there will be a 2 LP edition of Superfly, and I think that might be Run Out Groove. I'm not really sure exactly who's pressing that. All right, or producing that. September 2nd. So I think that's a lighter week because of Labor Day. Pusha T, his album will be out on vinyl then, and a lot of people who've heard that say it's one of the best hip hop albums of the year. Megadeth's brand new album, and King's X brand new album. So those will be out then. Roxy Music has a best of coming out then on vinyl. Steve Hackett of Genesis has some live stuff, and The Who, HU, their new release. Also, at one time, and You Will Know Us by the Trail of Dead had an album listed for that date. I think it may have been pushed back a little bit. I'm not so sure. Don't quote me on that. All of these price dates are sort of subject to change. So keep an eye out there. September 9th. I hope you're writing these down. Like that's what I have to do. September 9th, Ozzy Osbourne. New album. Tedeschi Trucks Band. 4 albums that they've been releasing over the summer in separate parts. Every one of them is coming out on its own individual vinyl on September 9th. The Afghan Wigs return after like a 5-year break. Built to Spill return after a long time. A couple of sort of southern and blues release country. GA20 and Charlie Crockett. Those are both out that day. One album I'm really looking forward to is Oliver Sim of the XX. His new material has been very, very sort of edgy and good. He's been going places that a lot of other artists would fear to go. And of Montreal, they're returning with another album, Delta Spirit. KT Tunstall, Julian Lennon, and there's some reissues from Daft Punk. We'll get Human After All finally. I don't think we've had that on vinyl in years. And a couple of live records. Also Reverend Horton Heat, Bad Religion, Bright Eyes, and The Kinks are all putting out reissues that day. September 16th, big day. That's probably the biggest new day coming up. Pink Floyd's Animals reissue, the remix from 2018 that Roger Waters and David Gilmour didn't seem to agree on for a while, and now it's like it's happening. The new Beyonce is out on vinyl that day. The new Mars Volta album is out on vinyl and CD that day. John Coltrane's Blue Train, the mono and stereo reissues of that on September 16th. Creedence Clearwater Revival live at the Royal Albert Hall. That's a big one to watch for. George Michael's Older. This album has been pushed back many times over the summer, and it's one of his best. It features Jesus to a Child and Fast Love. That's coming out on September 16th. Miles Davis, his Volume 7 in the Bootleg series. Joni Mitchell's box set from 1972 to 75. That does not include Blue or Hajira. It does include Hissing of Summer Lawns and Court and Spark. New Death Cab for Cutie. New London Suede, a.k.a. Suede. Marcus Mumford. Whitney. The Beths. Little Big Town. Clutch. House of Love. Yeah, House of Love. Black Angels. Jack Harlow. Ringo Starr's third EP. J.S. Andara. Rhett Miller. And a couple of reissues in jazz. Ella and Louis Again. That is an Acoustic Sounds Verve reissue. And Joe Lovano's I'm All For You, which was a Blue Note classic series. And finally that day, I'll just put in a mention for Michelle Branch because I feel kind of bad. It seems like Pat Carney, the drummer of Black Keys, I I don't know if he was cheating on her or what, but it sure sounded like it from the articles that came out. And she got hit with $1,000 fine for slapping him after he called domestic abuse. Police came to the house or something. I don't know. She's already filed for divorce, so it's kind of sad. So anyway, she's putting out a new record. Drama in the Carney household. And they've got 2 small kids, I guess. One is 6 months old. All right, enough of that. I'm not talking anymore about people's personal lives here. September 23rd. Hey, big day. Alice in Chains, Dirt, getting a reissue. And I know a lot of you are saying, but what about the self-titled album? I don't know what to tell you. There are other albums of theirs. Facelift has been MIA for a while, so just wait and see. King Gizzard's Omnium Gatherum finally out on vinyl that day. ABBA Gold on a gold vinyl if you really want to have a gold record of that. Grateful Dead's Fillmore concert 69 on LP. That's like a 4-record set. Beth Orton, her new songs sound really interesting. Editors, Tim Burgess, so I got some British people there. Noah Cyrus, Miley's possibly more talented sister. Well, she's a great writer, maybe. We'll see. Alex G, Philly's own Alex G. Nikki Lane, Maya Hawke, fresh off of her appearance in Stranger Things. Death Grips, the No Love Deep Web album, is getting repressed on a non-phallus cover. New cover art for that. Micaiah McCraven, I'm not sure, I mean, that's part of why you'd want that album, right? New Micaiah McCraven, new Alphaville, that's a throwback. Hey, and reissues from Motorhead, Iron Fist, Ray Charles, Basie Swings, and Aqua's Aquarium. So you can finally get your Barbie girl on vinyl. And lastly, September 30th, I'm taking you through September. Long video. My voice is giving out. Let's see, Denzel Curry. Yes. I've been waiting for like almost a decade for that. Buddy Guy. The Pixies. Off. Preoccupations, Titus Andronicus. That's a really big, you think you got Yes, Pixies, Off, Preoccupations, Titus. It's kind of a big indie rock sort of, or, some of them are new, some are older, but interesting mix. A couple of albums finally out from Metric and Ben Harper. We've been waiting for those on vinyl. Other things, New Dead Daisies.